We are back, round 2 of the Winter Siege at Pineway. This tournament was just outside of Lebanon, Oregon, so about an hour south of Portland. I'm Scott Withers, here with Jeff Korns, and we watched some pretty good golf in the front 9, but we got some holes to go.
Yeah, back 9, you got a mix of holes. There's some attackable ones. There's some ones you want to walk away with not blowing up on. So, we got 2 guys, Chris and Dustin, off to a solid start. Ty just picked up a bogey on the last hole, still in the mix, and Cole is trying to get things going.
Yeah, we're going to move into hole 10. Might as well kick it off right away with a 425-foot. This is just a big hyzer. These guys, All 4 of them are throwing a big hyzer. There's no reason to have a disc for these guys flexing towards this hole at all. It's a little downhill, but I'm going to say it plays pretty true to that 425-foot distance.
Well, I appreciate that compliment then, because I felt like this hole played a little bit shorter than that. So if you say it's 425 and I think it's easy, then I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
You're just super strong that day.
I guess so.
There's the hyzer from Chris, comes up a little short. Dustin hanging it out wide here, trying to skip it on grass that doesn't skip because it is a marsh down there, and this is the part of the course we talked about earlier that was really wet. So
Cole's going onyx here, just ripping on it.
I'm going to safely say right now that Cole's got more power than anybody else in the state at this point, or probably in the Northwest.
There's a very good chance, when he, really gets behind discs, he is ripping on stuff.
Ty, unfortunately, rips on that one, and that's out of bounds, and it's maybe never inbounds.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. It may be, if best case scenario, it crossed the corner up there, but It looks like it's going to be a re-tee.
Yeah, we did have some weird things with tee boxes, and part of it was because the grass was so wet that we essentially had to tee off from the cart paths, but there's numerous holes on this course where we're teeing off from out of bounds.
Yeah, there's a couple spots on it for sure.
This was one of them, and you saw when Ty never got back in, it was an almost automatic re-tee, and this was not the hole that he wanted to take a 5 on.
No, at worst, you want to put yourself in the fairway, just get up and down. But you're going to see Chris here convert on the birdie.
Yeah, great putt. When we went through, I started on hole 11 in the first round, and you could see, at the start of the first video, it was raining pretty hard. When we played these holes, or we played the ones after this, I guess, the weather was pretty bad. We got to this as our last hole, and it was a little calmer. But we had a couple birdies like this. That was a play. I mean, you saw Dustin and Chris both throw hyzers, get to 35 to 40 feet, and make their putts. Cole threw his onyx to here, so apparently 425 is no big deal for him.
I guess so. Sneaks it over.
Yep, 3 birdies and a 5, assuming Ty can clean this one up. So I would guess that the top few groups of guys saw a lot of birdies on this one, even though the distance was there, because the landing area is pretty wide, and it just is kind of in that full power shot or full power hyzer, and depending on your power is just kind of depending on how wide you need it to go. So Chris now 6 through 10, and Dustin right on his heels at 5 through 10. Now we're starting to think about these guys are putting some rounds together.
Yeah, I talked to Bryan Peterson before the tournament, and he said he was thinking somewhere between 18 to 24 on the day, maybe around 9 down a round. And that was before we had an iffy weather prediction for the day. So
the back 9 was harder than the front, but this hole, definitely a birdie hole, 345, couple different lines that you can take, and you can see the bunkers. The forehand line stays away from the bunkers the whole time, and you can play it a little more wide. The backhand line goes over a green and over the bunkers, but you have to have a 340-foot forehand to be able to throw this shot. Chris looks like he did it really well.
Yeah, it looks like a really good forehand shot. Dustin's lining up the backhand. I'm thinking this is FD3. And, I was trying to play it just one skip off the golf green, kind of like Dustin did, and he gave it a run, it seemed like.
Yeah, I didn't have the nerve to throw that shot. This is what I started on the first round, so I actually got to play this one or throw a couple shots on it. And I just looked at it. I was like, man, the forehand's over safe area the whole time. That backhand, the last quarter of its flight's out of bounds. It's got to be pretty pinpoint to get on that green, or to get on the disc golf green, I would say, not the golf green. I'm really surprised to not see Cole and Ty both throw forehands after watching Chris's look so easy.
Yeah, I'm surprised that too. They both have the forehand distance, to throw that shot.
Yeah, I wonder if they did in the second round. It's just one of those things that maybe because you watch Dustin, who designed the course, do it first, that you choose not to. But Chris,
Ooh, that was dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not happy with that one.
No, maybe a little bit of headwind on that putt, and those XDs are definitely not fighting the wind super hard. But he gets so much spin on it. He is a pretty good wind putter. You can see Ty went in the bunker, and unlike most golf courses, we're actually playing bunkers as standard OB and not as hazards here.
Yeah, they wanted to keep us out of the bunkers if we can be, just because of the rainy conditions and just less grounds upkeep, I guess.
Yep. The hazard rule can help you, it can hurt you. At the end of the day, it probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah, depending on the line you throw on this hole, it could help, it could hurt.
Yeah, it helped Ty a little by a couple feet, and then he makes the putt. Dustin did get the good skip down, so his was a little, his was a backhand that was successful out of them, and then Chris a little long and, missed the putt, but at the end of the day, he was safe the whole time, and he'll be able to tap in his par and move on. Whew.
He gave that one a little thought after, airballing a inside the circle putt. He definitely wanted to make sure he makes the comebacker. Definitely gives you a little nerves on those.
Mm-hmm. And there was some wind this day, so putting was not the easiest thing around this wide open golf course.
So Dustin ties it up with Chris at this point through the round, 6 down. This hole is an interesting one. So there's no marking that you'll see in this flyover, but that tree we're flying over right now is Mando left. So you do have to take this either high shot. I also saw some people throw really flippy rollers to try to get right. But this one's a tough one just because it's hard to access.
It is not 401 feet. It's probably closer to like 315 or 320. Especially if you're talking just like as a crow flies from tee to green. You'll see the safe play of this forehand. A lot of us were going high mid-range that just turned and glides right the whole time, and it was getting solid putts out of it. And I remember in the first round we didn't have any wind to hurt us on this, and I think we had 3 drives get inside the circle in our group. We saw a lot of forehands do this, which is straighten out and go into a creek that is just short of that road.
That's an unfortunate one. Cole's probably going back to that flippy buzz that he likes, trying to get that glide play.
He's way right. I think it flashed in the screen. I'll say short right, but really just right.
Looks like a faster disc from Ty.
Might have been a roller attempt.
Okay.
It didn't work probably because it splashed. There's a lot of standing water on this one too, and only became more as the day went along. Yeah, Cole was way right on his. I remember talking to co-course designer Bryan Peterson about this hole, and he was like, yeah, the smart thing to do is lay up. And I got there and I was like, this isn't hard enough to have to lay up. And you saw the forehand layup wasn't even that easy, because if you straightened it out at all, you did what Chris did and went in that water.
Yeah, I don't think the layup was the play. I think just, commit to something that's going to turn right. Or, if you want to get really aggressive, try to get something that's going to roll at the end.
Yeah, that was about as good of a forehand as it's going to get, is where Dustin ended up there. And you can see it's raining at this point.
And this basket has a sloshy green. You can see all the puddles.
I think that puddle to the right during the second round was quite a bit bigger than it is at this point in the day, too, because it started raining. And I remember we had a couple people go into that puddle in the second round. We were joking with them. Is that safe? Is it a puddle? Is it a creek?
Yeah, you might be surrounded by OB. That might be a pond on the course. We don't know.
Right.
Because it got, it was ankle deep.
Yeah, it was. I think James, in the spoiler alert, I think James and Proctor in the second round takes pretty significant relief from the puddle. Like, went back a ways because he didn't want to get in. He must not have had waterproof shoes on. So Chris with a 4, everyone else 3, pretty common on that one. And then you talked about it on the last video, like we're in this stretch of holes where it was like the hardest holes over and over and over. 371, pure highs are here for all our players. There's no need to do anything else. I'm going to say the pond's not really in play. The camera makes it look a lot closer than it actually was to the water. I think if you were doing this course just for MPO and wanted to make it challenging, this could have been 15 feet closer to the water or 20 feet closer to the water.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Didn't see anyone even close to the water on my cards.
No, and at 370 feet, most MPO players are just going to, blow by that water easily.
Yeah, especially when we're hanging it so far out right to start and just playing a pure hyzer in. So water not really in play. It would take a shot that slip. I actually think what's more in play is a little creek right behind the basket or the road.
Cole's going pretty overstable.
Right.
And taking that big skip.
That's what we were talking about. I thought it was easy to get on the road, and that reaffirms the water not super being in play because it looked like he kind of missed that off his hand, and it was a really stable, maybe Raptor or something. I don't know. It looked like a fairway driver when he threw it.
Yeah, it looked like an overstable fairway of some kind. Nice and safe from Ty, swinging it wide.
Yeah, that was the mistake that you saw most players make if they didn't park the hole, and it was just error out to the right, and Ty got himself a 50 or 60 footer, but I think you want to. Chris goes fully around the pond. I think if you're trying to win this tournament, you want to be within 20 or 30 feet on this hole both rounds.
I would have to agree with that. Like, Chris went with his Thunderbird, and I don't know why he didn't take a more inside line, kind of around the height of that little shack to get the closer look. But Ty's cashing those putts in, like we said. Circle 2, he'll throw them in.
It doesn't matter where your drive goes, how safe you play it, if you're going to throw in the 50 or 55 footer. His putts take a real direct route to the basket, and if my putts had that height, they would hit the bottom of the cage, but he's got a little more speed and a little more spin on them, and they stay in the air. So Chris is going to have to try to match this now.
Oh yeah.
So pure.
Got that nose up enough to skip it over the cage.
Good putt. Always in. Going to get a replay on it, and you're going to get to watch it go on one more time. He mean mugs something as he's walking off the green, but good extension, and that's something a lot of players can learn from Chris's putting style is just make sure you reach for that basket.
Clean putt from Dustin as well. And as you see, that road, it's closer than you'd see off the tee, because Cole, even though he is out of bounds on the road, he still has yet to putt.
Yeah, probably sitting at 25 feet and cleans it up. So no damage done. That's the same thing as just erroring way out to the right. It was definitely a miss out of his hand, but he got away with it and got a par. So cool hole. I like it. I think the next time we go there, I wouldn't mind seeing it be just a touch closer to the water to add a little more challenge.
Yeah, gotta get aggressive. You can't run as many of those long putts for potential of OB, but I like it.
This video is brought to you by Resistance Discs. Head over to resistancediscs.com and use code CHSports at checkout to get free shipping on any order over $25. Thank you to resistancediscs.com, and let's get back to the video.
All right, moving in. Hole 14, coming down the home stretch of the first round. 362. I think I hit the rangefinder on this one at like 310 or 315. It might as well have played 360 though, because it was more uphill than it looked like.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I was throwing an Onyx on this hole, so a faster fairway driver. I think we're going to see a lot of players kind of hang it over the road and just let it hyzer in around the backside of that power line.
Yep, I would agree. This is a hard hole if you're left-handed.
Oh, yeah. You got to have a really good forehand if you're a lefty on this one.
Yep, I threw Malta in the first round, threw it right next to that power pole, did not get to the basket, and then realized I was like, I probably shouldn't throw Malta on this, and went with a different disc in the second round. But I like this shot. It got left enough that it almost went in. Ooh. I don't hate a disc landing on the road here and bouncing left.
No, this one kind of reminds me of one of the holes at one of my home courses at Alton Baker. I think it used to be hole 12. It's like a 400-foot shot with a road on the right. You like to play that one road skip, get you a little distance, and skip back towards the fairway.
Yeah, this hole a little shorter than that, but the uphill does come into play. Cole out of his hand a little early. It was pretty soft and juicy to the right of this basket, too. I wouldn't say it's a creek, but there was a little low-lying area that was not out of bounds, but was definitely, you can see some of the footprints in it, I think. It was super muddy, and you didn't get a whole lot of skips if you landed by the power pole, as opposed to if you landed left of the basket, you would shoot over here kind of where Chris is.
Chris is keeping the putter rolling.
Yeah, he's feeling good right now, and it's going in. So we know how dangerous he is if you watch coverage of the San Diego Open. When Chris's putter gets rolling, sometimes it just keeps going in from everywhere.
Absolutely. We got Ty now from probably just about the edge of the circle, maybe a touch inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Bang. Good putt, good speed. It is nice to get to play some courses that have really legitimately good baskets on it where you don't have to worry about a putt that's that hard not staying in.
Especially on temporary courses. So many times you see clubs that have an old set of Mach 3s or something, and you spit outs left and right at some of these winter events, especially in Oregon.
The whole Webfoot series that you ran for a couple years where we played those old Dexter baskets, and it was 50% if they'd stay in, and it didn't matter where you were. Dustin can't cash in after a good drive. That's going to be a little bit of a disappointing miss. Still should be able to make par, but as we get to the home stretch here, you really want to get this hole because it does not get any easier for the last 4 holes after this.
Solid cleanup.
Cole going to wander over. Pretty cool event here, and I know that there's another one that Dustin and Bryan are running coming up in Eugene, but 2 courses, so you can see some of the M players throwing on kind of in the background, but we played the same course twice, so we did not flip-flop courses, which we've done for San Diego Open. We've also played the same course a couple times. I don't know. It's fun to get another crack at something. It's fun to play both courses. Either way, I heard a lot of good things to be said about the other course too, so I think every player was happy with the experience at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're moving on to hole 15 here. It looks similar to the hole we just played, except for it plays way significantly longer.
Mm-hmm. True 400-foot shot, uphill, and you really do want to get it as wide right as possible. You can see Ty slip on the ground there, and this was a pretty chewed up area too. But it's almost got to get over the road to be able to park this hole. And the angle was weird to do so. I thought it was a pretty cool hole design. And if you wanted to make a 3, you could do that with no danger and never mess with any out of bounds. But it was always going to be a par. if you wanted the birdie on this one, you did have to get real aggressive and bring the road into play.
Yeah, that last tree kind of plays as a guardian. It's going to protect the green a bit. So you got to get it around that one. And with some height, because you're not getting much skip.
Oh. Get the wave. That one's out of bounds, and that's going to be a long way from the basket still. And that's what we were talking about. If you want the birdie on this one like Dustin was going for, you do have to be more aggressive.
And here's another 400-foot hole where Cole says, I'll get the tracker there.
No way. Yeah, and it's out of bounds. It's too far.
I think he's got the potential to do it, but that tracker's getting a little flippier for him, because we'll see him throw a tracker on another hole, I'm pretty sure, and he's got the 400-foot of distance with the tracker.
Yeah, I don't doubt the distance at all. This hole just, to me, needed to be a pure hyzer the whole way. And, like, especially with his power, there's no need to have one stand up at all. Just grab a distance driver, smash it at the road. He can bang these putts.
Oh.
It was high enough. It was high enough.
It was high enough, as he tells everyone. Chris gives it a bid, but like we were talking about, those branches are pretty low. You got to have some pace to the putt. You can see Ty going to a knee. And this is 60 feet. Be a great make, and it's really, honestly, probably just a layup from over there. Hole 15 strikes.
That it does. This is the third hardest hole on the course. Not many birdies at all. I want to figure out only one birdie, and it was on my card. I can't believe I forgot about this. James Proctor got the birdie on this one.
In the first round?
Yeah, and now that I remember back, he was close. Like, he threw an amazing shot.
Yep. Tap in for Ty. I doubt there was a ton of bogeys on this hole. We saw 2 drives in this group go out of bounds, right? But I would guess there wasn't a whole ton of people that did. Most people were just going to be short left on this one. Ooh, Chris was like, casual C tier? No, better put my bag down and set a disc in the basket. There we go. And
yeah, looking at PDGA stats, it doesn't look like there's that many bogeys. I'm going to guess like 4 or 5. It doesn't tell you, unlike UDisc stats, but not a lot.
No, and I almost wonder if it's easier for players like Cole and Dustin to go out of bounds than it is some of the newer pro players or lower level pro players, just because they know they throw far enough and they're actually going for the 2 where a lot of players might have been laying up. All right, moving on to hole 16. Can you give us a rundown on this one? Because I did not do anything good on this hole.
I like this hole. It's fun because it's got that like top of the world-esque, you're throwing a massive, it's 500 feet. It's totally reachable because of the massive downhill distance. And, you're throwing out into this wide field. So, and also this field is a swamp.
Oh, does that stay in bounds? It had to stay right of the net. It looks like it must have. Oh, that was close for sure. This was a really cool shot and a really bad place for a tee pad.
Yeah, there's so much potential for this shot, but you're trying to get a nice concrete tee pad because I don't think they wanted us throwing off of those golf driving greens.
Yeah, they didn't want us on their tee boxes to get them chewed up, which
we would have ruined them.
Yeah, I almost wonder if we could have moved that bench, teed off from there or something. We just didn't have much of a run up to this. It was a really short teeing area. You saw Chris with a really good shot, though. Dustin, we'll call that
it up also.
Good shot. Yeah. That's a good shot. That's going to be outside the circle.
Yeah, pin
Chris
deep.
is probably inside the circle, but yeah, getting that distance, not easy. It's a full color buzz.
Yep, he wants to go buzz on a 500-foot hole.
I mean, you can definitely get a mid here. He ended up short left. Yeah. Didn't put that one high enough. You can get a mid there because it'll just float. It's kind of like top of the world at Whistler's or top of the world at De La. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what you throw because it's so downhill.
Yeah. I really wish you could see like everyone's feet here because everyone is sloshing in puddles as they approach this basket.
Oh, it's standing water everywhere down here. This is the driving range portion of the golf course, and as such, I don't think they really care what the drainage looks like in it. We were talking about it. There's no way that... No. Oh, got it.
Oh, that's like an and one, like...
Yeah, takes the contact, almost falls 3 times on the way up there. Makes the putt.
I want to see not only this putt again, but I also would love to see slow-mos of every slip that Dustin saved himself on.
Well, yeah, for sure. Even running up to grab it out of the basket. That's a great putt.
Great putt. 3 great saves from Dustin on that hole as well, from keeping the pants dry.
Chris can't take the pressure of James Moore staring him down in the background. Throws it off the band.
Chris sees that massive gallery of people and gets a little nervous, it looks like.
Yeah. We have a couple card backup, and that is on hole 6, getting ready to play the first par 4 that we saw in coverage. And it did back up a little. People were waiting kind of for the green to clear on that one. But Cole par, Chris par, Ty par.
Dustin with the only birdie of the first round on that hole.
Really?
Yep, he was the only one. And this was the hardest hole.
Yeah, it's a tough drive. But then, if you were 40 feet, you couldn't push off the ground to try to putt.
Yeah, I got myself pretty, I think around 50 feet in round 2, and gave it a good run. Barely got any traction, and then I also just, splashed in a puddle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you threw a bad drive, getting the upshot close wasn't that easy either. So, through 16... Dustin and Chris have leveled out at 7 under par. Ty has had a pretty flat back 9. He's still at 3. Cole's still at even. This was a pretty cool hole. Not anything super special, but I like the shot. I thought it was fair for right and left-handed players, and for right-handed players, it's just a 380-foot hyzer. Dustin going Cloudbreaker. That seems really fast for this hole.
He's going wide, though.
Yep, he was. And he was trying to probably just land it on the green and skip one over and yanked it a little right, caught that tree. Thankfully, that tree is inbounds. What were you throwing on this one? Were you going distance driver?
No, I was able to get the Onyx there.
Okay. I went Onyx in the first round and straightened it out and threw it 60 long and made a really good putt coming back. But, I think Thunderbird from Chris here, and that's the right play. I don't think it really needs to be a faster disc than that. I kind of like the idea of landing this on the green. He just missed over the green, but if you can land it on the golf green, it'll take that little baby skip and get right down to the basket. Cole going... No, I just kind of missed it off his hand. I was wondering if he was kind of going with a high ante look. But if he slid up to that tree, it's still putting. It's close.
Dustin's got those little forehand chip shot approaches just so dialed.
Yeah, he's really liking those tactics, and they're a good mold, and that soft plastic definitely helps him to sit.
I've been waiting 17 holes.
Cole says, I've been waiting 17 holes to make a big one, and he almost does, but comes up a little short. Chris is able to capitalize on the birdie. This is one that you do want to get. I would guess that after we played a pretty tough stretch of holes, you come to this one, it's like, oh, okay, I can take a breath, throw a standard shot, and get a 2, walk over to the last.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I put myself in the circle both times on this hole, missed one of them, made one of them. It's a scoreable hole for the MPO division.
Yeah, for sure. I think 380 is probably pretty true to what it was, but it was nothing more than just a full fairway driver. And Chris and Ty capitalized. They both had the 2 good drives off their hand on the hole, and then Dustin and Cole take 3s. We got 1 hole left, and I don't know if these 2 were scoreboard watching or not. My group took a while to finish, so I don't know. I know they were done quite a bit before us. I don't know if they really knew where they were standing, but we're going to move into the final hole, which is the longest hole on the course. And this was a cool par 4. It really was. 775. Just take your drive and essentially throw it as far as you can and then turn. And this is a pretty high, like, there's some very definitive tiers on this green.
Yeah, that giant downhill shot that we just threw on 16 a couple holes, like 2 holes ago, you're now going right back up that big stepped tier. So
Ty messing with that left side. He's going to give himself a really good angle to throw a hyzer in now. Most of the people we saw were kind of going right here just to get away from the OB that is essentially an extension of where that net is at. So this is a little more traditional play from Chris and a really good one.
yeah, that's pretty far out there. The righter you were, at least on this hole, I think, the better the footing was, and it was a little bit drier. We're still in that like sloshy driving range area. So if you're left or if you're short, you're going to have a hard time running up and getting good footing.
Sure, I was kind of over where Chris was both rounds and actually threw a couple of really good drives that maybe pushed it a little more. And I didn't have footing issues on my upshot, so I didn't even think about this one being muddy. But yeah, I mean, what you're walking through to get to where the landing area is was a complete swamp. Oh, Cole going Zeus.
He puts a move on that thing. Like, that goes a long way.
Yeah,
That's like where I was, and it's pretty dry over there. So, like, there's a chance to get up and down.
Yeah, I don't think you can get to the road. Like, Cole threw that as far as anyone's going to throw a disc today on this hole, and it's still 40 feet from it. So the only real out of bounds is the left and right nets. Well, I think it's the road on the right and the net on the left. Dustin slipped.
Yeah, the big puddle splash you saw.
Yeah. Yep, he was in the wet spot. Ty threw it past the wet spot. God, this is a good angle. I didn't see anyone over there, but that seems a lot easier from over there, and he hits the base.
God, you get some crazy reactions off of the bases of these.
Yep.
I saw one really, really unlucky break off of the base of the basket, but temporary baskets.
Chris was not loving it, but that's pretty good. He's on the right shelf. He went TL3, champion TL3 that he throws all over the place. And Cole,
that's a buzz.
Yeah, I'm surprised he threw backhand, and it worked. Take it. So this is where Dustin's slip ended up. This is, I'm going to say, not really a makeable putt. It is way uphill. Ooh, almost.
Yeah. It's dangerous because this basket is like 5 feet, as you can see here, from that. If you hit the basket or something, or you're going at least down a full tier.
Yep. Oh, it stopped. Okay, that very easily could have made it down a tier. We did see some rollaways on this hole. And Cole cleanup, good birdie from where that drive went. He's pumped. He got him under par for the round, in a round that I know was not his best effort. But he stays positive. Cole has a good attitude every round, no matter what the scorecard looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is a course that should play to his strengths of long throwing, but you know, he struggled on the putting green a bit. But as you can see, not upset about it. Ty finishes off with a nice birdie as well.
Sometimes it feels good to sneak that last putt in one way or the other and go to lunch and be like, "Whew, I got away with one that was a little low, but it's in the can, and now I'm done."
Yeah. Chris cleans up the par.
Dustin going to be able to tap in his par as well. So, I mean, the course played, I guess, kind of how Bryan thought it was. No way.
Oh my goodness. Colin, please replay that for us.
Oh,
like,
no
Scott's
way.
putt at Serene. I want to see that replay spit out. No, that was so dirty. I want to see it in slow motion.
I don't even know what to say to that.
You guys at home, go click on the little gear in the bottom of your YouTube thing and watch that in slow-mo. You can watch it yourself, but that was brutal.
Oh, man. All right, well, that's a little bit of a downer to end the round. I didn't know about that. So we see final scores. I got in at 10. James Proctor at 9. Bryan Peterson, Chris Nelson at 8. Daniel Kitchens, who I just played in a lead card with today at a tournament up at Hornings, is also tied with 8. So thanks for watching. Chris Nelson and DJ Harrington will be with you guys for round 2.
Hey guys, Colin here with CH Sports. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my coverage sponsors. These videos would not be able to come to life without these people's help, so I really appreciate it. There's plans starting as low as $3 a month, and every single dollar helps grow the channel. If you would like to see your name or business listed in the credits of every single one of my videos, please head over to patreon.com/chsports.